Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Purple Penny live video. We hold these videos at 12 o'clock Adelaide time every Monday. Have done so for the last year and a half or so. My name's Mark. I own and run the Purple Penny with my wife Catherine, who is outside there. She's finished the mailing today. She's not got that many packages to mail today, so she's all finished today. Usually she's still going, so she's out there sorting out a bunch of decimal coins for a customer of ours. We're in Mawson Lakes, which is a suburb about 15 minutes north of Adelaide, right next to the train line. If you are visiting Adelaide, it is only about a 10-minute train ride from the middle of the city. This weekend the shop was very busy. Extremely busy. We bought a lot of stuff this week and we sold a lot of stuff this week. Silver and gold are still very strong for some reason. A lot of it coming in, a lot of it going out. We had one unfortunate gentleman who came in who was liquidating his gold holdings to make up for losses in digital currencies that he has incurred, which is unfortunate for him. We had a regular of ours bring in some odds and bits and pieces. There was a few coins there, but there was quite a bit of other stuff. There was some really nice Australian tea tins, a 12-pound tin and a 5-pound tin with all the graphics and colours and things like that, and they're outside on our top shelf out the front there. If you've ever been here before, you'll know that we've got a bit of a museum happening on the top shelves out the front. He also had a lovely little, I'll just hold this up here, hopefully the camera will focus on it, here we go, a lovely little military style pocket watch which works, which I was very pleased with. If you follow us on Facebook you would have seen these this week. They're a set of old style handcuffs with a screw type key. These are made by Hyatt and they're dated 1914. Now, please don't bring your handcuffs in here. I guess Catherine and I have always wanted a pair of old style handcuffs, and now we have one pair, and that's probably the only pair that we will ever buy. Not coins, but still interesting. And then probably wins the prize is the weirdest thing of the week is this thing here, which I don't think I'm allowed to describe what it is on YouTube. If you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook, it is a slice of a barrel with rifling down it there with some sort of number written on the side. Gosh knows where this has come from or what it's from. I've got no real idea. And then on to the coins that we've bought this week. We bought some $10 star notes. We've got 3 $10 star notes here. They're all kind of, well, 2 of them are very low grade. One of them is quite a bit better than the others, but they're the first star notes we've had in over a year. It was nice that they came in. And if you see those pop up on our website, you'll notice that I note them as being cleaned and pressed because they have all been washed and pressed and have a very distinct bleach odour to them. I just copped a waft of it then as it went past. So that's a bit of a taste of some of the odd stuff that came in this week. As I said, we do get lots of weird stuff coming in here, and Catherine and I suckers for it. We always encourage people to bring in weird stuff to show us, even if they don't want to sell it. We do like to see what people have laying around. Right, let's say some hellos to people. Hello Mike, Sharon, Greg, Clay, Patrick, John, Ash, Leonie, Gary, Trina, Jason, Claire, Mike, Wendy. Trina wants to know about the cuffs. Yeah, you and everyone else, Trina. As one person said on the Facebook post the other day, it's the first time he's seen handcuffs without the fur on them. I'll put them down somewhere. I just can't. Oh, there they are. There. So I think they're British made. Hyatt, Hiatt, British made with a screw type key here, which actually works, and they're dated 1914, and they're quite small. I'm not sure if they were intended for women or children or something, but there you go. And funnily enough, it's not the first pair of handcuffs we bought this week. Someone brought in one of the old Convicts and Bushrangers sets from the mint that you could buy a few years ago, and there was a pair of toy handcuffs in those. So funnily enough, we did buy 2 pairs of handcuffs this week, one of which is real and one of which is a toy. Anyway, enough of the handcuffs. Let's jump on to the news. Oh, hello, Pal and Paul and Andy and Ogie, and Graham and Shane and Heng, and Ash. Do you have a Sale Vital tin on the shelf? I'm not sure. I'd have to have a look. We might do a video tour of the 2 top shelves this week. We'll post those up to Facebook so everyone can see what's up on our top shelves if you can't get in to the shop to look at them yourselves. So I'll make a note to try and get that done this week. Someone has said bleach ? Yes, Trina. Just like coins, people can clean and improve banknotes, and the 3 most common ways are to wash them with some sort of cleaning agent, and that might just be in warm soapy water, or it might be in something a bit more harsh such as bleach to try and remove stains. People press them or flatten them or iron them, or however they actually get around to doing it, and sometimes they'll actually trim them to remove nicks and edge tears and things like that. They'll actually remove some of the banknote to try and conceal that. So banknotes are a bit of a minefield, and I would be very cautious about buying banknotes from local auction houses. I mean, you know, not coins and banknote auction houses, but sort of, you know, the local sort of auction houses that do house clearings and things like that and sell bric-a-brac, because often they are places where improved banknotes go to be got rid of, and often you can't view them, especially if you're bidding remotely, and perhaps the people that run those auction houses don't have the expertise that is required to be able to pick banknotes that have been improved. Now, all of these banknotes here have come from a local auction house. They all came in the original sleeves from that local auction house here, and pretty much, yeah, they stink. It's unfortunate, but they stink. And unfortunately, it does go on. It's a shame, but you know, there you go. Right. Thank you, Ash, for offering to drop in a Sale Vital tin. That would be lovely. Thank you. We're always looking for new stuff for the top of our shelf. Right, let's jump onto the news. B-roll watch. I'm really enjoying doing this every week. It gives me something to do every Monday morning. B security rolls. Some hapless soul auctioned a lot of 10 B security rolls on eBay this week, and they sold for $630, which of course works out to be $63 a roll. On Facebook, I've seen one local Adelaide person selling them for $70 a roll, so the prices are continually coming down. Now, RAM B rolls are still holding their price, which I must admit does surprise me a lot, given the flood of security rolls that have entered the market, and they're still in the last week finishing between $132 and $170. I'm ignoring the buy it now sales now and just looking at auctions. Glennis says Cam found 2 B rolls at the bank this week. Yes, Glennis, I saw Cam's post on Facebook with that. Congratulations to him. I have seen reports around here in Adelaide that the coin roll machines are emptied, and I do know that there's a couple of regulars that come in here that go around the place emptying out those coin roll machines. So if you are here in Adelaide and you're looking for B rolls, because they are being found here in Adelaide, then good luck finding a machine that still has rolls in it. July RAM release, I've covered this a few times. We've got a half gram 999 gold coin. It's a Kookaburra. It's the second in the mini gold coin series. I think someone will tell me what the first one is, because I can't remember, but it's in a little lighthouse slab holder, and $90. The dealer allocations are very small, so if you're after one of those, make sure that you get onto your local dealer and try and get one of those. If you've got the first coin, it's going to be a nice little series to have. They do look good in the holders. Right, next item is not necessarily a piece of news. Well, it was news to me because it's a coin hoard that I haven't heard of before. Those of you who are sort of, I guess, new to this, you might not know what a coin hoard is. A coin hoard is a group of coins that is discovered, you know, perhaps with a metal detector or an archaeological dig. Different countries have different definitions of what a hoard is, but you know, basically it's a bunch of coins. And this week I read a really interesting article in Coin Week about a coin hoard that was found near Pompeii. And those of you who aren't sure what Pompeii is, Pompeii of course is that city next to Mount Vesuvius in Italy that was destroyed in a volcanic eruption. And in 1895, a treasure hoard was found at the Italian town of Bosco Reale, which is near Pompeii. And that included, let me just have a look at my notes here, 109 pieces of silverware, several hundred pieces of jewellery, and over 1,000 gold coins. Now, unfortunately, back in 1895, record keeping wasn't the best, so no one really knows exactly what was in the hoard. But the gold coins, the gold Roman coins, were quite distinctive because they were heat affected. They were heat affected, presumably, by the lava that went by, the volcanic eruption. And those of you who aren't sure, volcanic eruptions typically are hot. And as a result, we get these pretty amazing gold coins. That is actually a gold coin that has toned purple and red, and the reason that it is toned is of course that gold coins even today are not 100% gold. They do include alloying elements such as copper and silver and things like that, and it is thought that these gold coins that were found at Bosco Reale were toned by the heat affecting the copper that was in the coins, and as a result they're this amazing purple and red colour. Now, as I said, record keeping back then was pretty terrible. No one quite knows what coins were in the Bosco Reale hoard, but you do see them pop up from time to time on the market attributed as from that hoard, and they have this sort of weird colouring. What do they sell for? $15,000 or $20,000 each. So they're not the sort of things that you or I are going to be able to afford anytime soon. So that's the Bosco Reale hoard of treasure from the volcanic eruption from Mount Vesuvius, which was right near Pompeii. Fascinating topic. Not exactly the latest news, but news to me, which I was very pleased to learn about that this week. And for our watchers in the UK, I don't know if we have any watchers in the UK, but if you do, hello. You've got until the 1st of September to bank or spend your paper £20 or £50 notes, because they are being demonetised on the 1st of September, and after that I guess that's it, it's done. Now that's quite different to here in Australia. In Australia, all Australian coins apart from one are still legal tender. Prizes, everlasting glory and adulation to those of you who can say in the comments what the one coin that has been demonetised here in Australia is. But in the UK these are being demonetised, and of course they've been replaced with polymer notes or plastic notes, which of course in Australia we've had since 1992. Well, the first one was 1998, but the general release started in 1992. Right, let's have a quick look at the comments before we jump into the topic of the day. Right, Leonie confirms that it's a koala, thank you. Claire says that her security roll that she thought may have been B coins, so she's left the second one head tail roll, which I assume to be the same. So that seems to be the go, Claire. We have had people bring in a number of rolls now, and we've bought them at a small premium above face value, and we've opened up a number and they've all been B coins. So it seems to be the way, but of course security rolls, there's never 100% guarantee, and that's why security rolls don't command the same premium that Royal Australian Mint rolls do. Trina says it takes a while before we get any coins in circulation at the Sunshine Coast. Even my bank generally has no idea about anything. Trina, We're super duper lucky here in Adelaide that this has happened. It's the only other time I can remember it happening was Qantas rolls showing up here in Adelaide. Pretty much Adelaide has missed out on everything, so we feel your pain. Trina Allison, no worries about being late. Trina says Pompeii is fascinating. It is. It is. Pompeii is a really interesting topic. Hello Carolyn, no worries. Hello Gwen. Yes, Ash, the traveller community will be spewing about the paper notes in the UK being demonetised. Mike says it's the dump. Well, it's the Holy Dollar and Dump. Yeah, that's right. So the Holy Dollar and Dump are the only money that was minted here in Australia that have been demonetised. Money minted by the official Australian government, so we don't count tokens because of course they weren't minted by the Australian government. So that basically means that you can still go and turn in your gold sovereign, which is worth £1, and get $2 back for it at the bank if you are so inclined. Similarly, you can take your £50 note and get $100 for it from the bank. But if you're good folk in the bank, like the people in our bank, then they will send you to a coin dealer rather than take your money for that thing. So, right, topic of the day is World Silver, and this was based on a couple of requests that we had last week. Now, this is what I call junk silver, and if you've been in and around coin collecting for a little while, you'll have seen that term. Junk silver is the name for coins that have silver content in them, but they don't necessarily have any numismatic value. And by numismatic value, I mean value to coin collectors. So there I've covered 4 of the most common countries that we get junk silver brought in here, and the first one there is the US. So the US has been minting silver coins since the late 1700s, and they kept minting circulation coins with silver in them up until 1970. Compare that with Australia. We stopped in 1964, the UK stopped in 1946, New Zealand stopped in 1946 as well. So the US kept minting coins with silver in them quite late. So 1964 and earlier, the silver coins all contained 90% silver, and that doesn't include the nickel being 5 cent. The nickel was made from nickel, funnily enough, except during World War II. And during World War II, there was a shortage of nickel that was needed for the war effort. So the Americans made the nickel from an alloy of silver. It actually contained 35% silver. Similarly, in 1943, the bronze was needed for the war effort, so they made their cents out of steel. And there are various other countries that actually had their coins made out of silver during World War II in preference to some base metal, because it turned out that making them out of silver was a better use of the base metal for the war effort. So Fiji, for example, their threepences were made from silver during the war, but they were brass before and after the war, which is quite interesting. So American coins, I'm trying something different here today with displaying some coins, which will involve me leaning forward and covering over the camera, covering over the light so we can see the coin. So this is an American $50. It's a Benjamin Franklin $50. These were minted from now I'm gonna struggle here, from from just after World War II till 1963. I don't know the exact date, so that's got Benjamin Franklin on that side and the Liberty Bell on the other side there. So these $50 are made from, as I said, 90% silver. There's about 0.36 of an ounce of silver in each one. So, you know, today that makes it about sort of $12 worth of silver in those. Smaller denominations that you're likely to see, we get a ton of quarters in here. A quarter being a 25-cent coin with George Washington on one side and the distinctive American eagle on the other side, which you can see there. Sorry, just struggling with the focus a bit here. There we go. So there's about 0.18 of an ounce of silver in those. And then the smaller denominations that you'll see is just the 10-cent piece, which is a dime, which you can see is a tiny little thing there, just a bit bigger than a 5-cent piece. And then as I said, the nickel, which is commonly made out of nickel, funnily enough. It has Thomas Jefferson on the head side, and then on the back it's got Monticello, which is the name of the building on the back there. So war nickels are really interesting. We don't see them very much in here, but they are very common, very commonly found in silver. So I'll just put all those over there. Right, we've got a couple of questions here. Let's have a look at the questions. Sean Mack says, would the last Aussie silver be the 66 50 cent? Yeah, that's right, Sean. I said the 64, of course, so the 66 was. So the 1966 50 cent piece had 13.2 grams of 80% silver, so there's almost exactly a third of an ounce of silver in each one, and they were issued in 1966, and by late 1966 the amount of silver in them was worth about 75 cents. So the government actively withdrew them through the last part of 1967, and then removed them completely from circulation in 1967. And then for 2 years we didn't have a 50 cent piece, and of course the familiar 12-sided 50 cent piece was released in 1969. Devlin says, afternoon, I originally purchased a silver smithy coin and it's gold coloured on both sides. I don't know, Devlin, perhaps you would like to send us a Facebook message and we can have a look at some photos of that. Probably not something I can help you with now. Trina says she has a few state quarters, and of course they're just pocket change in America right now, and they're what's called clad. Clad is a nickel, a copper core covered in nickel, so a clad copper core. Right, English coins. Now, English coins are probably the most common silver that we see here. Of course, here in Australia, English coins circulated until 1910. They were the currency of the country when we issued our own coins, and they still continued to circulate for a long time after that. They were still accepted as currency. Generally, English coins, the silver ones, were 92.5% silver until 1920, sorry. In 1920, they were minted in 92.5% silver, or sterling silver, and also in 50% silver, and the British continued issuing 50% silver coins until 1946, and then they went to base metal coinage. So what sort of denominations do you see for British coins? Well, you see a florin. So just, if you know your Australian pre-decimal coins, then these denominations will be familiar to you. So a florin is 11.3 grams of some sort of metal. That one's 92.5% silver. Sixpence, of course, the same size and weight as an Australian sixpence, 2.83 grams of silver. A shilling, which of course is the same size and weight as an Australian 10 cent piece. Come into focus. Same size and weight as an Australian 10 cent piece, 5.65 grams of silver in this case, or the 10 cent piece is copper nickel. But there are some unusual denominations that we didn't see here in Australia. So the English has, for example, fourpences, which is 4 pennies. They have 1.5 pences, which is 3 half pennies. There's some odd denominations that they have, but recent in sort of the 20th century, it really was just threepences, sixpences, shillings, florins, crowns, and half crowns. This is a half crown. A half crown is 2 shillings and 6pence. So you're looking at about 15 grams of silver there. That's a half crown of George V. You can see it uses a different portrait that was used here in Australia, and that coin is dated 1924, so that's 50% silver. If you're not sure if British coin is 50% silver or not, the 50% silver coins had a lot of manganese in them, and they tended to go dark. So that's usually one way that you can tell if you can't test them some other way. And then of course they had crowns, and crowns are very popular coins. It's 5 shillings, it's about 27 grams. So that one's 1888 with the Jubilee portrait of Queen Victoria there. So British silver, very popular to accumulate here in Australia. It's very commonly seen. Every collection we get in here pretty much has some British silver in it. Right, how are we going for time? Right, we're running a bit over. Perhaps we'll just finish up with Canadian today, because we do see a bit of Canadian. Canada issued silver coins until, let me think, 1968. Until the end of World War II, they were 92.5% silver, and then end of World War One, they were 92.5% silver, and after World War One, they dropped to 80%, and they issued coins in similar denominations to the US. So there was dollars, quarters, 10 cents, and 5 cents. The difference being that the Canadian 5-cent pieces were silver; they weren't made out of nickel. Now, this is a Canadian dollar. So this is a Canadian dollar from 1966. It's 80% silver. Again, it's about 25 grams. There's 0.6 of an ounce of silver in one of these coins. Similarly, the quarter is about the same size as an American quarter. It's a fairly iconic design there with a moose on the back, and then again the familiar Mary Gillick portrait of the Queen there. Right, we'll finish up with one that's not on the slide here, and this is one that if you are here in Australia you will see these quite a bit. It's a New Guinea shilling. Papua New Guinea was a protectorate of Australia up until after World War II, so the PNG coinage was created by the Royal Australian Mint here, and the silver coin that you're likely to see here in Australia quite a bit is this little jigger here. It's a silver shilling with a hole in it, and these are sterling silver with just over 5 grams of sterling silver in each one of these. You do see these a lot here in Australia, and it's a fairly common way of getting hold of some reasonably cheap silver. Right, that's it for scrap silver for today. We might do some more countries next week depending on feedback. Have a quick look at the comments here. Glenn says he's enjoying the topic. Thanks, Glenn. Jim says he's got lots of 71.50 cent. The 71.50 cent is in America and Australia is just base metal. Jim. Patrick, do we have these coins for sale? Yes, Patrick, we have a lot of this sort of stuff for sale. Just give us some warning about whether you're coming in for them or not, because we need to pull them out of storage. Silver Jubilee weight is more. Yeah, look, Jim, you're mixing up the Australian 50-cent piece and the American one. Don't mix those up. Australia did not make silver coins after 1966. And Greg is telling us that the Purple Penny Presents competition for the gravy train is this week. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for your comments and for the interaction. It is much appreciated. As always, if anyone has any topics that they would like covered, please do give us a call or send us a message, or if you come into the shop, talk to us about it when you're here in the shop, and we'll do our best to cover it. I do enjoy doing these videos, and we'll try and get Catherine in again. So bye for now everyone, happy collecting, have a great week, and we'll be back the same time next week.